Can you beat Big Wave Beach with only Garden Warfare plants? Surf's up, am I right, guys? We're in winter, guys, give me a break. When stepping foot into this world, I already knew Big Wave Beach was going to be a hard challenge to... Who wrote that one? Hood's luck. All of the hood hates Big Wave Beach. Thank you to none of my fans for believing in me. But you guys don't realize that I'm the PvZ king. What's one extra chili anyway? Hell, add 7 more chilies. Nothing in this world is gonna... Nah, I can take it. Look at this beautiful beach.
Caution, user Dave. My sensors indicate there are zombies on your beach.
Where? Who the fuck? No problemo. We'll just lay down some lily pads, then the other plants can ride the waves. Well, last time I checked, Dave, this green circle isn't a Garden Warfare plant. And if he was, he'd probably be very shit. And considering this whole world's theme is, water, not having lily pad on the team definitely makes it harder for my plants who can't swim. Which is all of them. But I simply ignored this future Brando problem and began planting my pea shooters. With only having access to 4 rows of plants, as well as these 3 frisbees, I was very limited to how much damage I could cause against the radical zombies. Ha, dear. But thankfully, Torchwood carried us through the level. You mean nothing to me. When the tide comes in, it'll be a wipeout! Why did he say it like that? Wipeout for our plant friends. That's right, Dave. But fortunately for us, a couple more lily pads washed onto shore. I thought lily pads come from ponds. Like, am I wrong about that? I've never seen lily pads just chilling in the ocean. I swear frogs are supposed to jump on them. Anyway, Torch Shooter managed to get us through the level once again. Why am I calling it Torch Shooter? Well, pea wood sounds like something you'd find in a river.
When fighting zombies from the deep, we need a plant with the appetite of a shark.
Oh my goodness, Chomper my boy! Hey, I have an idea too. We could call this Chomper Week. How about Chomper Month? Let's call the whole world Chomper Month. All 32 days, just Chomper. Hell, even the zombies can be Chomper. We'll just have a big Chomper party. What do you think, Penny? Hey, God! Day 3 was yet another conveyor level, but not only do we get Mr. Chomp Man, but we also get pea shooter. Oh, this is going so well. I don't even know what you guys were worrying about. The only issue we faced in this level is the amount of repeaters clogging up the plant line, who were also wearing Viking helmets. Don't judge my taste in costumes. I think he looks handsome. Day 4. Something triggered me to put my sunflowers on the lily pads to protect the stronger plants that are worth... Yeah, I get it, guys. Shut your mouths. But it was also a way for me to pre-order the tiles where better plants are gonna go, such as Torchwood, to make sure zombies don't just eat them, and now my plants are drowning again. But in the midst of me using up the lily pads I had, I went to force feed my sunflower this plant food and... Oh. What in the Shadow Clone Jutsu just happened? So it turns out, plant fooding any plant on top of lily pad not only activates their super awesome power, but also triggers lily pad to duplicate in all 4 directions. And with this small piece of information, we took out the horde and confidently moved on to... Great. Just what I needed right now. Swiper the Fox. I'm so happy you're here. Day 6. Survive with most plants given to you. Let me guess. Sunshroom? Licky Tongue? Literally anything else other than sunflower and pea shooter. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Pea shooter for the majority of this world has been carrying the early game, being able to take out every Hawaiian shirt zombie and the Little Mermaid. However, one zombie that pea shooter struggles against is this creepy snorkel stalker, who has the body of an ironing board. This zombie only leaves the water after either reaching the shore or choosing to eat all of my plants out at sea. But by sending out Chomper to act as Crazy Dave's Coast Guard, these guys aren't a problem at all. So using our new lily pad strat, we threw Chomper into the water. Oh. I missed. And we got given gangster grass. Day 7 was the first level that gave me the shivers. Probably because I'm over there drowning with hypothermia. But the whole of the lawn was at risk of being submerged, leaving all of my plants not on a lily pad to drown, like in the movie Titanic. Don't leave me, Jack! I will always love you, or something. The snorkel zombies returned, and with the whole lawn being submerged, they literally just ate their way to the end, but then get wiped out by the boat engines. And the best part is, the snorkel dudes will eat every zombie except, say it with me guys, Walnut. Shut your stupid. Nightcap, of course, can't be eaten by the snorkel dudes, but this also means that they don't even bother to stand up and stare death in the eyes, but rather go underneath Nightcap, which means they don't even die. Whilst this isn't necessarily too much of a problem right now, keep this in mind. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Penny?
I find your thought process indecipherable, user Dave.
Bowling time! I can't remember the last time where there was just a fun level which didn't make me protect a plant from dying, or produce 7 billion sun, or survive with only sunflower. But we ended the level with a slam dunk, or whatever, and moved on to day 9. Send me back to the bowling level. I don't want to play anymore. Despite only being able to eat 2 zombies before getting tired, Chomper is actually really reliable in protecting the lily pads from being eaten. But to try and cause more damage in the back, I started to sub out Pea Shooter for Cactus, who seems to be wearing a jacket. Jacked. We finished up the level with our Chomper army, as well as one singular Torchwood, who is peacefully looking out to sea.
Unexpected.
Oh. Despite Pea Shooter showing up on the conveyor level, Day 10 forces these Christmas bulbuls on my lawn. In fact, I was given so many bulbuls that I threw a couple on my own Christmas tree. Please, kill me. You ungrateful ass. Day 11 saw the return of my Chomper army. I mean, after learning about my awesome lily pad strat that I invented myself, I've been smooth surfing. Those zombies are surfing. Okay. Day 12, plan your defense and defeat the zombies. Sounds weird when I read it out, doesn't it? Cactus City! Day 13, produce at least 2,000 sun. They just love that number, don't they? And also, never have more than 35 plants? Whose greedy ass is planting that many fruits and vegetables? And still losing? You might as well add shoot at the zombies to the list. As much as this level did seem straightforward, the ocean took up literally every tile except the first row. Well done, lily pads, for doing piss all. But after seeing how many flags were in this level, I knew that one row of plants wasn't gonna cut it. The only strategic method I could think of was to waste the plant food on the sunflower to get 1 extra lily pad, and then work my way further out from the shore over time. Thankfully, this level was very generous with how much plant food I received, and by the final flag, the tide went back down, and Chomper ate the remainder island bar. By the way, the sun challenge was beaten like halfway into this level. Both of these challenges did nothing to stop me. You would have to ban half of my plants for me to even... Yeah, that's on me, to be honest. Thankfully, with Chomper being on the team, we can continue our strat, but this time with 0 lily pads being given to us. Fortunately, the shoreline was over here instead of over there. So we created a whole-ass sunflower garden to farm over 2,000 sun, which let us plant Chomper in the safe zone and avoid the seashore, shut up. Is that Aquaman? Day 15, protect First of all, who the hell chose to plant potato mines on the beach as if we're still in the middle of D-Day? But why did the shoreline have to be right there? Not even Nightcap can wipe out the surfing dudes before they explode. And to add a cherry on top, the snorkel creeps are literally hidden from being shot at, all until they leave the water and once again explode. However, all of this is simply an illusion. Starting the level with Kernel Corn takes out the first zombie in the bottom lane, which leads to planting sunflower in every possible tile to fund a whole row of nightcaps. But as the surfing knobs arrive, you should have enough plant food from taking out the other zombies to use Nightcap's plant food ability and take them out way before they reach the potato mines. Which leads us into the final flag, where the tide thankfully goes back down, letting us Nightcap our way to the end and unlock a bingo card. Whose bingo sheet is this, bro? They out here playing tic-tac-toe.
Bingo, user Dave! It's bingo!
Oh, so it was your dumbass who was playing wrong. You already won, Penny. Wow, you're good at this. Yeah, Penny, look how good you are, you stupid ass car. You can't even... What just happened? Penny, what did you do to my game? Who is this dude pointing at? Is he dancing? Are we at a silent disco? What's going on? Dudes, you're like totally in for it now. Stop talking like that. You can run, you can't swim, but you can't escape their scaly grip. What do you mean by that? Day 16 gave me bowling ball and nut. Hashtag blessed. Day 17. Who the hell? Squidface, what in the Tarzan Speedos are you wearing? This lanky zombfish launches octopi which suffocates my plants in their slimy tentacles. However, unlike the sheep in the Dark Ages, these guys can actually be blasted into calamari. As long as you get rid of these guys rather fast, the octomen aren't really an issue. But there is this one time where basically everything turned into an octopus and it looked like I was running a fish market. I tell you, Penny, these surf-loving zombies are the pits. Gross.
Pits. Very interesting.
You horny ass truck.
User Dave, you are a genius.
I am?
No, you are not.
God damn, Penny. What the fuck? Why you gotta do my man's Dave like that? You're the one with the freaky armpit fetish. Huh. Interesting. Day 19, survive with most. Oh, very scary. I can't wait to use sunflower and chomp.
Ah, there it is. There's the bullshit.
Every time, dude. They do this to me every time with Sunshroom. Why do that? I chose to bring them myself, but did end up using corn for the early game, which did help to stop the Squid Face, not frickin' Squid Game. We unlocked Mr. Alligator Man and went on to... more BS. Day 20 had the ocean flooding the lawn once again, and I don't know when this started, but once the surfer dudes reached the shore, they slammed their boards into my Chomper's face. Look, it's not my fault that you suck at surfing. We took down the Octo Bros and received a wooden man. Day 21. You look like Cactus's little brother. Day 22. Is this dude fishing in the ocean? Hey, how about you catch yourself a nightcap? Oh, what's that? You can't do nothing? That's what I thought. As long as you have a nightcap in front of your defense, the fisherman is useless against stopping my plans. But it ain't the cheapest solution because this head-ass kidnapped Chomper anyway. Day 23. Protect the blah blah. Who is it? Nana. Whilst I can't necessarily plant Banana Face, I can still use him to my advantage whilst he's already on the lawn, letting me instantly take out these Octopult twats and fish them. Day 24. Hole in. Oh, you big bitch. Day 25. Spend no more than 3,000 sun. Oh, they're trying to challenge me now. Okay. I mean, what did you guys expect? Do you think Pea Shooter is going to survive the Fishman? Day 26. Day 27. Oh, you just love choosing my plants, don't you? Can I at least just have Chomper? Piss off, Bonk Choi. Thankfully, a few lily pads were already on the water. So with Sunflower and Nightcap, where are you going? Remember when I mentioned how the naked snorkelers eat everything in their way except Nightcap? Yeah, this level is gonna suck. The worst part is, I mentioned earlier how Chomper is the best counter to these guys, but I only have 2 freaking slots, and his ass ain't doing nothing against the fisherman. Unfortunately, I can't cheat my way through the level like I did back in day 15, where the funnel wave makes the tide go back down, as the whole ending of this level features my lawn submerged with ocean. Whilst these idiots are having a staring contest with Nightcap, there is physically no way to stop these guys from going under Nightcap and just ordering a cocktail from the Tiki Hut. Because even with a plant in front to bait the snorkelers to leave the water, the fishermen just see this as, crikey, that's a big one. Reel it in, Terry. This is going on the gram. This level took a stupid amount of trial and error, but let me show you how I did it. I started off with these 5 sunflowers, taking up every lily pad for maximum economy, which lasted all until the very last second where I replaced this sunflower with Nightcap to take out the first zombie. This is followed up by lane 2s and 3 sunflowers being subbed for Nightcap, but then I shuffled this one to garner enough sun to replace him in the 5th lane and doing it once again at the very last second to target the first lane zombies, which one of them coincidentally contains a plant food, which is used to power up this sunflower to create more lily pad spots, allowing me to protect this lane once more with another Nightcap. By this point, every lane has 1 Nightcap. However, this snorkel zombie unfortunately avoids the one in the 5th lane and triggers the first lawnmower, leading into the snorkeler eating sunflower, which is actually part of my strategy, as you see. Whilst this dude is distracted by eating sunflower, Nightcap is still triggering her poison death effect thingy, which leads to this zombie being wiped out as sunflower waits to act as bait for the next snorkeler. This also acts as a countermeasure to the fisherman, as not only does Nightcap have immunity to being grabbed, but also acts as a wall to shield plants behind it. Somehow. Leading to this lane essentially being safe for the remainder of the level, unless all of the lily pads are destroyed, meaning my plants will be washed away by the next flag. But you might be wondering what's the purpose of this tile where it seems pointless, but this is actually another countermeasure as the Octoface can't capture Nightcap as stated before, but can target Sunflower, which means that the Nightcap guarding the back can clear out the stupid orange candle holder, which lets the snorkelers pop out the ocean once again. After using more plant food to expand the lily pad lanes, the final wave hit and fortunately all of the snorkelers spawned in the Nightcap trap lanes, letting us beat the level with 3 mowers to spare. That had no right being so hard, bro. Day 28. Don't lose more than... Yay! Day 29. Peachy! At first, I was slightly worried when I saw the shoreline was at the very end of the lawn, meaning these guys could just walk off the screen again. But I forgot that they just give you a bajillion, million, trillion plant food, so I made use of Torchwood to tank any damage from zombies, making it past gold. But then I forgot Octodad existed, and he converted my plants to squid. Nightcap somehow soloed the whole level. I just had to wait for the tide to go back down, and then everyone got floored. Is that a thumbs up? Are you sarcastically saying good job to me, you sore loser? Hey, get a better fishing rod next time and maybe I'll feel bad. You middle-aged, inflatable, bucket hat wearing... Nice face. Day 30. Oh boy. Do I have a lot to say about this level? Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah, I'm just kidding again. There is a lot to say. If you thought day 27 looked like a hard level, if you think day 19 of the Dark Ages seemed like an impossible challenge, day 30 of Big Wave Female Dog takes the top spot for hardest level I have faced in this entire series. But, Brando, what could be so difficult about a Protect the Endangered Plants level? You say out loud, ignoring the fact that the 2 previous examples I gave of hard levels both involve protecting some stupid plant. Gatorman! Let's start by planting some sunflowers and... Oh, that's a lot of zombies. Nothing Chomper can't deal with, and why is the screen going black? How did I already lose? You see, these small pieces of cucumber are so sensitive that the fisherman can reach over Nightcap to stab Montgomery Gator, resulting in his ass swimming over to jump scare him. But I thought Nightcap protects anything that's planted behind her. Well, so did I, but that would be too easy. Not even Toad from Mario can save the day this time. I would break down step by step what I did to slowly figure out how to take down this level, but first of all, I would have to talk you through 5 hours of footage, which would be so fun considering this video is already as long as my Christmas tree. And second of all, I couldn't even beat it. Kinda. Let me explain. Nightcap isn't able to protect the green dinosaur, so we need to use Sunflower as bait to tease the fisherman into pulling the lily pad with Sunflower closer up the field so we can switch her out for Nightcap and prevent the fisherman from reaching any other plants, as they somehow only target the lily pad from under Nightcap. However, as soon as the second flag hits, the Octozombie suddenly covers all of my plants, as well as the surfer dudes destroying my decoy plants, which is basically impossible to juggle in all 5 lanes at the same time. So after doing the same thing over and over again, hoping I would somehow win for 3 hours straight, which by the way is the definition of insanity, I went to discord.gg/pvz and asked my community for help. And when I mean my community, I mean Emmy. Emmy, please help me. Emmy, please help me beat this level. To which she told me, you got this. Which was not the answer I was looking for. So after forcing her at squash point, she said, I'll do it. And then I said, hooray. And then she said, I'll have to lab this one out. Give me time. And then I said, thanks. But then all of a sudden, YouTuber 660NJ appeared out of nowhere and said, Brando, do you use a Windows? Which made me think that he thought I lived in a cave. But then I realized he wanted to help out with the challenge too, so now I have 2 people helping me beat this whilst I was also attempting the level. But then, whilst we were all attempting this challenge, Witch Hazel 59 numbers told me they almost beat it, and I was like, how do it? How do beat level? And she was like, Snapdagon, and I was like, what? Who invited this knob? And whilst all of this chaos is happening, YouTuber Sylvia YSI appeared and gave the inspirational quote, do you ever use moral launch when you might need to? Good help. And then they just vanished into the void. So then whilst I'm trying to comprehend everything, NJ messages back saying, dude, I hate this trackpad. Bro is playing this impossible ass level on a 1997 Windows laptop. What is happening? So then Witch Hazel sent a video that showed one singular Snapdragon carrying the whole of the early game. And with that, I shut off Discord and got to work. So after 7,000,000,002 attempts, I lost to the very last zombie because every plant in that lane chose to cosplay as an octopus. But after 27 quintillion, I was down to the final Gargantua, who was rapidly approaching the crocodile. In the very last 2 seconds I had before it was over, I thought back to day 12 of Jurassic Marsh, where I tried to spam Torchwood over and over, and that was my only option. So I snapped out of it, placed Torchwood as many times as I could, and beat day 30 of PvP! All by myself. With the help of everyone in the Discord, but I still beat it first, and with that, we can finally move on to day 32, boss fight time.
Have you noticed that Chomper and Bikini Zombies have been ultra cozy lately?
What? Chomper, you got game with those ladies? You slider.
Could a beachside plant zombie romance be in bloom?
Okay, who at PopCap was fantasizing about the plants and zombies being in a relationship? Like, this isn't the first time I've seen this. Garden Warfare has a TV of pea shooter and zombie just kissing. Like, am I the only one who thinks this is a little bit weird? A plant zombie romance? Penny, my mind.
User Dave, do not jump to conclusions. I suggest something more productive.
Bro, if Crazy Dave starts getting on with his car, I'm throwing my PC out the window. You don't bring me joy anymore. We took out Zomboss after a long 32 days. Why? Why does the shark look like that? And he dropped the key to modern day. The final world in this series is next, guys. We are this close to beating the whole of the game only using Garden Warfare plants. 35 levels, 8 Garden Warfare plants, 1 Brando. See you next time.